What is up? Welcome to Etsy Jam. The holidays are fast approaching. Is your shop ready? Join us as we follow a fresh Facebook holiday guide and make it relevant to Etsy sellers. Get a better understanding of timing, audience, engagement, and delivery so that you can prepare your shop for success.
What is up? Welcome to Etsy Jam, the podcast where we have skirt-derp conversations about serious topics. I am Gordon from Marmalead.
And I am Richie from Marmalead. And if you like holidays, you're going to love Marmalead. What is Marmalead? Marmalead is the best Etsy SEO and market research tool for serious sellers. So if you have an Etsy shop you're serious about, check yourself out some Marmalead at marmalead.com, which is marmalead.com.
Nicely spelled.
Thanks.
What are we talking about today?
Well, we both got in our emails this 2017 Facebook holiday guide, which has all sorts of holiday shopping trends and easy steps to get ready for the holidays. So we thought we would talk about that. Even though Facebook sent it out, it is still super relevant for e-commerce, and that includes our Etsy audience. So we just kind of want to walk through some of the points they make in this guide and give a little bit of our witty commentary, specifically Gordon's witty commentary on top of that.
No pressure. Now, I mean, keeping in mind this is a Facebook holiday guide, so no surprise, they're going to try to push you towards Facebook ads. But like Richie's saying, a lot of this stuff is relevant to all kinds of different platforms. And so we're going to try to call that out and make it Etsy relevant also. So if you want a copy of this too, you could reach out to us, or we could link it up from the blog page. Might even be a better idea. So we'll do that. If you go to marmalead.com/blog/Etsy-jam, you will find all of our jams. And this one will have a link to this holiday guide if you want to lay your own eyes on it. Maybe you don't trust us. Or maybe...
There we go.
Or maybe you want to print it, because, I don't know, some people like paper copies.
If you like holidays, you'll trust Marmalead. Anyway, speaking of Facebook, it's kind of funny. The very first stat they give, 49% of global surveyed shoppers say Facebook is influential in their holiday shopping. That's shocking.
Are you
Absolutely
in that
shocking.
50%, Richie?
I'm not sure. It might be one of those things I'm not even sure. Like, I don't even realize that Facebook is influencing me.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just kind of quietly influencing me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if a lot of people would say like, hey, things you see in TV shows are influencing you.
Right.
And, you know, and then you like look around and you're like, oh yeah, that lamp is from that TV show I was watching, isn't it? Weird.
Hey, they have the same lamp I do. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think that's pretty spot on. I'm probably the same way. Like, I don't do my shopping on Facebook. I'm not like, oh, I need to get something for, you know, my mother-in-law. Let me go onto Facebook and get some ideas. No, that's not how I work. But like you're saying, maybe she liked something in the past that I kind of like took mental note of, right? So that kind of fits.
And I mean, as far as things like Facebook and other social media and like, you know, content, stuff like that, influential is kind of broad, right? Was there a direct result? Does doing, you know, for your shop, let's say you have a page and you're doing a lot of posts and you're just kind of posting things out there and like, oh, hey, check out this listing or something like that. Is that really influential? Maybe, with like a really broad term, right?
Yeah.
Did it directly result in sales? Was there like a strong call to action? Did people see this and there was like an expiring, time frame in which to buy this? Was there a strong call to action? Like, was it really compelling them to do something? Or was it influential because they saw it once? You know, you can't really measure it back to it. So keep that in mind as far as like where your efforts go. Like, are your efforts this holiday season, wherever you are, whatever platforms you're on, including on Etsy, is what you're doing influential, or are you seeing like, you know, kind of a direct result?
Good point. So after their stat of 49%, the next thing they mention there is they say during the holiday season, people turn to their news feed for gift ideas, kind of like we were just talking about. This is an opportunity to promote your business on Facebook and grow sales during the holiday season. So obviously they're angling this from the perspective of buy Facebook ads. But, you know, as an Etsy seller, a handmade or vintage, whatever you're doing, you can still take advantage of this and showing up in other people's news feeds without buying ads. Just take a simple photo of something that you're working on, a product that you're designing right now, or a find that you just made at an estate sale, and share that on your Facebook page, and that's going to end up on all of your friends' feeds too at some point there. Alyssa, my wife, just happened to find these Christmas ornaments that somebody she does vinyl cut letters and designs and stuff like that. And she just kind of made these things as like, hey, I think these look pretty cool. I'm not selling them or anything like that. But I was really proud of the way they turned out. And Alyssa saw them and she's like, oh, can you hook me up with some? Like, can I buy some of these from you? She does have a separate shop that she sells other vinyl cut things. But that's a great example of Alyssa discovered that through her own Facebook feed because one of her friends' posts came through of just this thing that she was kind of doing on her own, wasn't even intending to sell it as a product in her normal shop that she has.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And don't just worry about what you're posting, but take a look at other things that are being posted out there as far as like gift ideas and there's what kind of you're seeing as popular, and then jump on that wave. Like take a look at things and then jump on a Marmalead and research those keywords and see if these are things that, might be a good fit. Well, one, there's demand on Etsy for it, and two, are a good fit for your product. And if that's the case, if that's already being thrown out there in the market, when I see things that pop up, whether in a news feed or like wherever I see things content related, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea. That's a cool product. I'm not normally clicking the ads if it's even an ad or like following that thing, right? Because I want to know what other ones are out there. So even if there's an ad for a product, right? I am going to go like, let's say you want to sell me a coffee mug. Cool. Like I might follow that through, but I'm also going to cross shop it, right? That's just kind of what we all do. So I will go to Etsy and I will actually type in that and check a look at what the other competitors have to offer. I'm not just going to take the first one that comes across, right? Because I know that's not my only option. It's not like it's sitting right in front of me. You have one coffee mug, take it or leave it. This is once I walk away, you can no longer buy this thing anymore. It's like, no, that's not the case. I can click this link, leave it open, go over to Etsy, see if I have better options.
Yeah.
So take advantage of that. If someone else is spending the money to put the awareness out there that these products exist and people are seeing it in their news feeds, they're going to be going on platforms like Etsy to type that in and see what else is there. So if it's a good fit for you, make sure you're there too. Throw your hat in the ring or your coffee mug for that matter.
Yeah. So like the next thing the guide gets into, I don't know if you can see this here. The next thing the guide gets into is they start breaking it down by month, and they start with October. Yep. And they say that activity on Facebook really picks up in October, and then it goes on to increase and increase and increase all through the holidays, and it peaks around New Year's. So a couple of things there. It's still, activity on Facebook is increasing, through Christmas. So don't give up at that point. But also, if you're not a Facebooker, if you're not on there all the time, October, right around this time frame that we're in right now, is probably a pretty good time to get started going out there, refreshing any content that you have, starting to post things about what you're doing. And like Richie's saying, look at what some other people are doing to get ideas, because that's just going to keep ramping up through the holidays.
One of the things that in this tip where it says refresh your ads creative during the holiday season, when your audience sees your ad multiple times, your desired results become more expensive to achieve. Now I know it says ads, and that makes you think very ad specific. But if you think of your listings on Etsy as an ad, right? So if your audience keeps seeing your same picture, your same product for this, cover photo of your listing multiple times in search and just keeps looking over it because for whatever reason it's not speaking to them, right? You're not getting that result. For whatever reason, once we've seen something enough, we stop paying attention to it, right? Like if you ever put a different wallpaper on your background to the computer and you're like, this is awesome, I'm gonna love this forever. And then a week goes by and you don't even notice it anymore, right? Because we see it enough and then we just kind of get used to it. So something you could do during the holiday season, especially as the months go by and people keep shopping, you could refresh that. You could change it. So like, hey, this is the one I'm putting in October. This is one November. It doesn't even have to be a totally different season you're doing, right? Like, oh, this one I'm gonna do Halloween and this one Thanksgiving and this one Christmas. But if you change it up, you might be able to, that person that just kept skipping it over for whatever reason, because it didn't speak to them, you might hit a thread with them on the next one. Same product, just a little bit different presentation. That might just catch their eye a little bit different.
Yeah.
So if Facebook is suggesting you doing that with ads, I think there's a really good chance the same thing is going to work with listings. If you just keep freshening up a little bit, you might catch somebody that had glanced over it before for whatever reason. It's one of those things we don't even know we're doing. Like, hey, you keep passing this thing up. Did you know that you've seen this 100 times? No, because I really only saw it for the first time this time.
The next thing they say on that same October page, you might be thinking at this point, like, well, this is fantastic, right? You're telling me that Facebook engagement is increasing in October, like, and it goes through New Year's. That's great. But, like, does that translate to people actually shopping? Are people really looking for gifts at that point in October? Like, I feel like that's kind of early. They say that 47% of consumers start shopping for holiday gifts before November. So we are in that October timeframe. And they're saying half of people, roughly, are already doing their shopping and starting to think about that kind of stuff now. So it's not too early to get in there and start to take some of these actions.
I'm not surprised. I'm seeing like the local home improvement stores, I guess Lowe's is local because their headquarters is down here. But like Home Depot and Lowe's and whatnot, I mean, they're already advertising like early Black Friday stuff. Mm-hmm. That's already starting to pop up.
Yeah. They've got Christmas trees inside. Like the Lowe's here has a whole Christmas section set up already.
Yes. And so does Target. Like all these stores are already doing that. Yeah. So, I mean, even if people think it's a little bit early to start, you can't help. You can't help it because the holidays are already like being thrust upon you in every store you walk into.
That's right. Some people get annoyed by that.
Some people get annoyed by that. When after the third month of hearing Christmas music in every single store you walk into, yeah, it can happen.
Come on, it's not even Halloween yet.
True story. Struggle is real.
What are you going to do?
Right? All right, so then we get into November.
Remember.
Ooh, remember November.
That's something.
Like it.
5th of November? Something like that? I don't know.
The very first thing they put on here, which is kind of surprising, is that Singles Day on November 11th has become the world's biggest shopping day.
Yeah.
Now that's early. November 11th. So if you're thinking like Black Friday kicks off the season and you are ignoring this. Now, even if you don't believe, like Gordon does not believe this is actually the world's biggest shopping day, which is kind of tough to swallow. But even if you don't believe it's the biggest, even if it's a top 10, right?
Yeah, it's a big
I wouldn't ignore it.
You don't want to ignore it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Still not going to ignore it. But that's earlier than I think. I mean, I really don't start thinking like shop for, gifts around then. But, whatever. It's important to know. If you have a product that would be appropriate for this holiday, for any holiday, be aware of it and target towards it. So November 11th. It might be earlier than you had in mind before.
This is a good reminder, too. Sometimes we think about our customers buying for other people and that our products are always gifts for other people. This is a good example of, Singles Day. Most of these shoppers are probably buying for themselves, which is totally fine, right? Obviously, there's probably a lot of people that do that. And it's a good reminder, too, to make sure that your keywords aren't always focused around gifting and things like that, because people might be shopping for themselves.
Absolutely. Like any Parks and Recreation fans, TV show, right? Treat Yourself.
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. Like they made a big deal. Like several episodes, had those two characters. I don't remember their name. Donna and what's that dude's name?
I don't know.
But it's Aziz Ansari, but I don't remember what name they gave him there. But regardless, they were all about this, treat yourself day. And they would go out and they would just spend a bunch of money and whatnot on themselves, buy a bunch of gifts, like, get manicures, stuff like that, all this stuff to treat themselves.
Yeah.
And it's a thing. And if it wasn't a thing before, a lot of people watched that show, super popular, and it became a thing then. So there you go.
So for early November, swap out all your gift for her tags with treat yourself.
Gift for me.
Gift for me. You could try it. I don't know. I've never done that search on Marmalead.
Including treat yourself. I have no idea. That sounds like a good hashtag, though. I'm sure it's a hashtag that's out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So keep in mind. Let's see. Black Friday is now celebrated by 1 in 3 people in the world. Now that's up from 1 in 4 last year. That's a pretty
big
decent
increase.
jump.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good jump.
It doesn't sound like a lot because, like, 1 in 4 to 1 in 3. Well, that goes from 25% to 33%.
Yeah. And you can't just say there's more people in the world since it's a percentage.
No, you can't. So that makes it even bigger, actually.
Yeah.
So that's what, 8 over 25? That's actually a 32% increase.
Yeah.
I know it's like 8%, but like the increase from 25 to, 233 is actually 32%. So
yeah,
that's big.
That is big.
Yeah. Again, ride the wave. Big brands are paying for that, right? That's what's really shifting all of this. So, just ride the coattails of it, right?
Some
increasing
might think,
your season.
Black Friday is the biggest shopping day of the year.
Some people might think that.
Some people might think that.
When comparing those things like tip to tip, right? Like you're like, oh, here you go. Singles Day is the biggest one. And then Black Friday is now celebrated by 1 in 3 people. So you're telling me that Singles Day is now celebrated by more than 1 in 3 people? Or is it the wording, right? Has become the world's biggest shopping day, but Black Friday is celebrated by more? So are you telling me that like Singles Day, they spend more money? Like
they're
I just
treating
celebrate
themselves
Black
more? Friday, man. I don't go shopping on Black. I just celebrate. I put on my hat, get some streamers.
It's the day after Thanksgiving, everybody. So, like, there could be some recovery going on depending what you do on your holiday.
Yeah, I'm gonna celebrate with a nap.
Never know.
There's no football on.
That's a good point. So when this comes out, like, let us know in the comments how you plan to celebrate Black Friday, whether that be shopping or treat yourself to some hanging out by the fireplace or some apple cider, whatever you plan on doing.
Yeah.
Let us know how you're celebrating.
A third of you are.
Yeah, we know it. So if 1/3 of our listeners aren't commenting, then we know there's something's amiss.
Yeah, this is true.
All right. So the tip on this is promote special deals and discounts for Black Friday and start running your ads earlier that week. We are not huge fans of discounts. We've talked about that before because it kind of cheapens things and people wait for it. Unfortunately, Black Friday and with retail, you can't always avoid discounts. But if you look to Apple as an example, they don't slash their prices. What they do is they give you a bonus, right? So I'm told this year they'll probably screw it up because I'm saying it. But like they're like, hey, you buy an iPad and it's going to be the same price on Black Friday as it was yesterday or the day after.
Of course.
But what we're going to do is we're going to give you $100 to use in the iTunes store.
Yeah.
You're going to get an iTunes gift card.
Music, buy a movie, buy some apps.
Exactly. We're going to give, or, they might give you some sort of accessory. I think at one point they gave you an accessory too.
Like a free dongle. So you can connect a dongle. So like you can connect your normal headphones to your new iPhone that doesn't have a headphone jack.
Right. There you go.
I'm not bitter at all.
No, not at all. I mean, making dreams come true. It's pretty fantastic. Like, who doesn't want one more thing to carry around?
I love it.
Well, I mean, think about it, man. You go and you get like, so you get your new whatever, but then you get like a new backpack and you got to like fill your backpack with stuff. Like there's all these pockets in it, right? It's like you need more accessories to put in it. They're just helping you.
I don't want to waste a pocket.
No, and you wouldn't want to like pay to put something else in that pocket. Like I'm going to go buy this so I can fill a pocket, right? So like they're giving it to you already. It's a bonus.
Yeah.
But gift card. I mean, it could even be something like, hey, if you buy this, you get this bonus item. Or if you're like, I don't really want to do a bonus item. Look at that. Artwork.
Nice.
See, this could be a bonus.
Bonus artwork.
This is beautiful.
You joke about the bonus artwork, but legitimately there's a lot of people who, with either digital downloads or whatever, will oftentimes have like upgrades to things. Like, I can do this for you, or if you upgrade this, you get a better background behind it or whatever. That's an example of something you could do as a value add. You could say, you know what, for Black Friday, we're going to have, a free upgrade to these things or something like that.
That's a great point. The bonus, the deal is you get this upgrade that normally costs this much money. Or you could even do a gift, like a credit towards your shop, like not an overall Etsy gift card, right? Because
Yep.
then they go and buy it somewhere else, right? But something for you, like, hey, when you buy this, you're also going to get a X dollar credit towards my shop for your next purchase, which guarantees you are going to, it's going to, like, you give them $10, and depending on what your actual margins are, right, you've really, like, they get the full value, right? But, like, you've really it only cost you this much.
Sure.
Right?
And it's repeat business and less business for your competitors too.
Yes. Repeat business, and you secured the sale without giving a discount, without working for less money.
Yep.
Right? You're still getting what you're worth. You didn't cheapen anything.
Right.
So
then we move into December, right? And then the first thing that they mention here at the top is that an average of 62% of surveyed people report doing most of their holiday shopping in December. Obviously,
that's me.
Not super surprising. That's me too. I'm in that 62%. I probably start thinking about it ahead of December, but I usually wait till the last minute, December.
Well, they make you think about it ahead of December because they're like we said, like,
it's in your
you walk
face,
into Lowe's, Home Depot, Target, like the grocery store. They're constantly pushing these things on you. So, like, I can't not think about it. Like, hey, do me a favor. Don't think about an elephant right now.
Yeah.
Boom.
Like,
Everyone just imagine an elephant.
I'm just trying to celebrate Black Friday right now. I don't want to be thinking about the holidays yet. Let me focus on my celebration. Now, the other half of that stat, which I think is surprising, is that they say that 1 in 4 people make their purchases between December 11th and 20th. And before we were jamming, that's me. That's me. Sometimes that's me too. Sometimes I'm on top of things, right? And I'm organized, but usually I'm kind of a last minute guy. Before we were jamming, Richie had a really good point about this too, kind of tying it back to what some people have been saying in the Etsy space.
Oh, absolutely. So, every holiday without fail, there has to be a cutoff. Right? Because people aren't just walking into your physical space and taking it like this very moment, right? Taking it with them, which if you're open, on Christmas Eve, they could come and do that. But since we're selling stuff online and has to be shipped to them, there is a concern about getting it to them in time. So a lot of the discussion is around, okay, well, USPS, priority mail, or, whatever mail service, if you're international, that you have going on, there's schedules and there's cutoffs, and we can't guarantee it, like, let's say past the 10th, December 10th. Well, you're missing out on, by these stats, if you're, just for entertainment purposes, we'll say December 10th, you are missing out by not selling the 11th to the 20th. You're missing out on that 1 in 4, that 25% who are making their purchases within that window. Now you might be thinking, but they're just gonna be mad at me if they buy this and they don't get it on time. Well, you're correct. So make sure that you set them up for success and not up for failure. So take away, beyond a point, take away your shipping options that aren't like a next day, a FedEx, a UPS, next day, or 3-day, whatever you're comfortable with. Make sure the one that, like, one of those guys is going to guarantee it's delivered, on the date it's needed. With that. And is it going to be expensive? Yeah, but you're not paying for it. They are. But that's just the reality of it. If they want this product and they want to buy it online and they want to buy it last minute, they need to pay a premium.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. And if they don't want to and they beg you, say no, because you don't want to set yourself up for that.
That's
and
right.
then your prices, you might be thinking, well, like, I've got this lead time. I normally charge a rush charge to make it. Great. Build that into your price at this time. Raise your prices to happy prices. Happy prices meaning you're happy if they take it and you're happy if they don't. If someone wants to complain that it's too high or not worth it or this and that, too bad. It's the holidays.
Yeah.
Like, you're in this window where this is what it takes for me to get you this product to you, and we're all happy.
Yeah. If I'm on Etsy and I'm really needing to get something by Christmas for somebody, and everyone that I'm looking at has basically cut off on the 10th and said, I cannot guarantee this is going to get there by Christmas, I still know I need something by Christmas. If I find a handful of shops that are like, you know what, for extra $20, I can rush this and get it there, that's like a no-brainer, you know? It's like, look, I screwed up, right? I'm the one who waited this long. Of course I need to pay this person more to make this happen for me. I could have ordered it a month ago, but, you know, I was busy celebrating Black Friday. So I waited,
Right.
you know? And if you're one of the few shops that somebody can still purchase something at, that's a huge bonus to you.
Absolutely. Hey, it's not everybody that's willing to do it, but you know what? There are a lot of them out there that are going to be doing this last minute stuff.
Yep.
And someone is going to get their sales dollars.
Yep.
It might as well be you.
Yep.
And again, you got other stuff going on because you're busy, this and that. You know what? Throw it out there anyway, but price it at something you're going to be happy. So when you get it, you're like, well, you know, like on one hand, I'm busier than I wanted to be. On the other hand, this is super profitable because I charged the prices I really wanted. So happy about it.
Yep. So the tip associated with this one too is to allocate more budget during this time period and create a sense of urgency in your messaging for last minute shoppers. Obviously, the sense of urgency in your shop updates and shopping policies or shipping policies and stuff like that is important. But the budget thing, they're talking, I think, from the angle of Facebook ads here. I would say make sure you're budgeting time so that in case some of these last minute orders come in and you actually, haven't put the things together for them, that you don't have a bunch of inventory set aside to be able to ship these things out. Make sure that you're saving up a little bit of time to be able to handle the extra load that you might be getting from last minute shoppers before the holidays. Things get crazy. There's so much to do before the holidays with getting houses ready and gifts ready and traveling and all kinds of craziness before the holidays. So if you are going to try to attack this, last minute December 11th to the 20th crowd of people, make sure you're budgeting time to be able to handle that.
Absolutely. And with your sense of urgency, you can even let people know ahead of time, after this date, whatever date that is, normal shipping is going to stop and we are only going to be doing this kind of shipping.
Yeah.
And, I realize it's all going to have to be like a calculated type thing, but you could even be like, listen, it's typically this and up at that point. Like regular shipping stops, next day shipping, 3-day shipping, whatever it is, starts at this point. And also, since you mentioned, budgeting time and, you're talking about like, do you have the inventory ready? If you're making something where you're like, okay, I need to source it from somebody without stocking up too much, but I've got but I've got a limit to it, and I'm going to run out of time where I can't get it from my supplier. Well, that's another sense of urgency you can put in there. Be like, look, we've got this many. That's it. We don't have time to go to our suppliers and get more materials to make more of your thing and get it to you. So there are 5 remaining, 2 remaining, whatever they are. That's it. Act now. You can't just come back in 3 days and expect, I'm going to pick it up. Hey, where'd that thing go? Like, no, right now, literally might be it.
Yeah. I mean, and you can tell them too, like, look, my first priority is delivering a quality item to you on time for the holidays. I don't want to be delivering something that's going to get there late and disappoint people. So that's why I'm building this into all of my shipping for everything. Obviously, for you, it keeps things simpler, and you don't have to worry about, okay, was this order like a basic shipping or was this expedited shipping? Because anything after a certain time point is going to be expedited shipping. And it keeps it simple that way, too. But you can let people know that you're doing it because it's so important to you that they have their things in time for the holidays.
Absolutely. And if they don't understand that, then they're just not a good customer for you anyway. Because
they're
they shouldn't be, right, they're a Grinch. I mean, they're in the wrong place if they're looking for like, no, just send me whatever. Like, if it's average, like, that's cool. Yeah. Because you know what? Fall for that, and then that's going to come through in the reviews. They're going to give you like a 3-star review, and they're going to be like, this thing was disappointed. It wasn't like the quality I expected. And then you're going to go like look back to the message, and you're going to be like, no, it's cool. Like, just throw it together. Right. Sally won't care.
Just rush it. Yeah. My mom doesn't care if she gets her gift on Christmas, right? Like, she's totally happy getting it a couple weeks later. Their mom will thank you for them.
That's right. That
Moms
cool
are always
stat
cool
they have
about
on
stuff
here.
like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. They don't care about getting gifts on Christmas. Come on, be nice.
Yes.
Yeah, be nice to everyone, and make them quality gifts, and don't put yourself in a situation where you're gonna have a bad time for the holidays. Because you know what, you should have a good time on the holidays too.
Yeah,
Absolutely, you shouldn't
for
have
sure.
to feel bad about anything.
That's right.
You know, so don't sacrifice your standards. Don't do any of this different stuff, and worry about like, oh my gosh, is this gonna get there? Oh my gosh, was that like, was that up to my standards? This and that. No, don't cut corners. Be like 100% happy with everything you did, so you can have an excellent holiday season also.
Definitely.
So next thing is they say 65% of shoppers plan to keep shopping after Christmas. And you know what? Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, because I know that during this holiday season, I am going to get a gift card to somewhere for something. Like it just happens. Somebody is going to give you a gift card or cash, and they're going to say, go buy yourself something nice. Like, I don't want you to, like, I want to make sure you go and spend it on, like, go buy yourself a gift, right? And so you're going to honor that, and you're going to go and get yourself a gift with it. Well, that's going to be after Christmas, because it was Christmas, you got it. So, and also, the other thing is you're going to get something that requires some sort of accessory, right? Somebody is going to get an iPhone, but not a case. So somebody's going to get their iPhone, and then after Christmas, they're going to go out and they're going to get an iPhone case. And then they're going to get other things. They're going to get headphones. They're going to get all sorts of stuff. Stuff. They're just going to get stuff. Accessories. Accessory stuff. I'm not big on accessories, so I'm having a little bit of a blank space there. But you will get stuff. Batteries. You'll need batteries. So if you sell batteries, like, you're going to be killing it after Christmas. And like tiny screwdrivers to like get to the batteries and all like the kids' toys.
What about like a digital camera? What kind of accessories would you want for that?
Oh, okay. So that's a good point. They make some nice, I don't even know how you call them, but straps that, go around your neck and whatnot. So like, not like the normal, like Nikon, Canon branded ones, but like ones that look kind of like scarves and stuff like that. Like there's, like comfy ones, right? Like, comfy camera strap. There you go. Yeah. Comfy camera strap.
Yeah.
There's probably other names for it. But
comfy cameras, I bet that has high engagement.
If it doesn't, you're going to have to go back and take that out.
I mean, a comfy camera strap, that just sounds awesome.
It sounds fantastic. And
I didn't even think I needed one until you said that.
Right? And that's the thing that pops up in your news feed or somewhere because someone's paying to advertise that. And you're like, ooh, comfy camera strap. Like, that's good call. Okay, I'm going to throw that in my shop. I'm going to put that in there. Someone else is already building the awareness for it. I'm going to jump on it.
Yeah. That's a good point, too, about the accessories. The things that you sell, you might not even think of them as being accessories, but try to think about what they could be accessories to, I don't know. I'm trying to think of examples, but like maybe somebody got like a new table or whatever, right? Like, okay, this is a nice decorative table that's going to go on the side of my room. It's not like a kitchen table or something like that. It's more like a nightstand type thing. What am I going to put on it, right? You could pitch some of your things as accessory add-ons to people's gifts that they get during the holidays. That's probably a weak example, but I couldn't think of a better one.
It's actually not bad idea at all. Like, a lot of people are going to be buying this kind of thing and then advertise. Well, advertise. No, I said advertise. Don't, but maybe like, I don't mean like paid Facebook ad things, but I mean like putting out there, like put out there. It's like, advertise, whatever. But promote, that's the word. Go promote that, you have accessories for this or that, because a bunch of people bought it, right? So based on just the regular news, how many iPhones Apple's expecting to sell, and like how many like Samsung and all this other different stuff, and like all these big what the in gifts are going to be every year, because the news is constantly talking about that stuff. Yeah. Well, look at if you buy this, you're going to need this, right? And then go promote that.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, you got this or that for Christmas? Well, check this out. You're going to love it. And people are going to be all amped up about it because they just got this new thing. And, what could make that even more exciting? Getting this other thing that goes with this other thing.
Absolutely.
Things everywhere.
All kinds of things. All of the things.
Which bring us to January.
Yeah.
So 46% of global surveyed shoppers say they shop in January to take advantage of additional holiday sales.
Yeah.
Or we go right back to Black Friday bonus kind of things.
I love this stat because it reminds me of a friend that I had back in like elementary school, middle school, high school. And her and I would always exchange Christmas gifts. Well, they were always goofy, like silly things that we'd buy for each other. And it got to be like crazy expensive that we would be going out and like buying all these things and stuff like that. We're just kids. We don't have a lot of money to begin with. Well, then we were like, you know what? Let's just move this to after Christmas because of all the sales. Everything goes on sale after Christmas. It's kind of insane. And so we would go out and, you know, a week or two after Christmas, do all of our shopping then and get all these kind of crazy cool gifts for each other that were just like goofy things anyway. There weren't serious gifts for the other person, just designed to get them to laugh, right? But we would do this. We would go out after Christmas regularly, and that's when we would do all of our purchasing on things. So I like that. That's a thing.
The next tip is use special offers and make sure you highlight your new product lines for the new year. So again, everyone's refreshing their stuff, right? Like think about it, like all the cars, like their, you know, new model year, this and that. And like, again, the general wave of stuff when the new year rolls in is here's the new line of everything. Here's the 2018 version of whatever. And they do with everything, they do with accessories. I know I talk about like backpacks, you know, but it's true. Like,
yep.
There will be like the 2018 version of the backpack you bought last year. So whatever it is you sell, you could always do, you know, a little update to it. Like, hey, we've changed this or that. Like, hey, there's like that, you know, zipper pocket you really wanted in this thing. Well, you got it. Like the new one, we listened to you. It's got it. It's got a spot for your rain cover, whatever. Like, you know, so if you have something that can be updated, update it and then promote that, hey, it's updated.
Yeah. This could be as simple as offering things in new colors. You know, if you're used to using the same colors over and over, switch up your colors for the next year. And these are the colors that we've got for 2018. All new options for you guys.
So this one's like there's a good and bad. The bad news is people do make returns on things they get for Christmas. Mm-hmm. The good news is that people keep shopping even when making returns because, well, you are returning something, but you're going to replace it with something, right? And sometimes you go and return something and then you go even spend even more money because you're already shopping. Yeah. In fact, that is why Walmart lets you return anything. Like, I have read that you can go, like, wear a shirt, do all your landscaping, get it all muddy, go return the shirt, and they'll be like, no problem, here you go. And the reason they will just go return, apparently that's like a real thing. But people, like, Walmart will take all these back, and I don't remember exactly what the figures were, but like every time someone returns like $20 worth of merchandise, they end up leaving with like 125.
Yeah.
So they come back, they return one thing, they walk into the store, they fill up a cart, and they leave with like 5 times more than they just returned. Yeah. So Walmart's like, yeah, man, bring it back. Come into the store. We dare you to come back in the store. We dare you to come return something and walk back out with that money because it's not happening. Yeah. We're going to turn you up by your ankles and shake it all out of you. So, and it's just because people, like, once you know, going to return it, and then you look at it and you're like, oh, well, you know, I returned this thing and it's like $50, but then like this thing I want over here is only 40. So now I've got like $10 to spend and I don't want a gift card because when am I coming back? And then next thing you know, you're spending like, you know, $200 on stuff and you're like, wait a minute, how'd that happen? Right?
Yeah.
It's the magic of the holidays, Gordon.
Magical. Or is it the magic of Walmart? I don't know.
I don't know. I think everyone's all hopped up with their Christmas sweaters and stuff like that.
Drinking the eggnog.
Drinking the eggnog. You know, it's kind of like got that like, you know, Christmas buzz going on, little Candyland action. That's kind of like the Disney effect, right? Like you go to Disney and everything's like magical and wonderful, and you completely forget that like you just spent $10 on a hot dog.
That's right. It was a magical hot dog, though. I mean, to be fair,
right? Well, I mean, super magical. It was so magic that you were still hungry and had to buy another one.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's see.
So that's it. We're through the months. They left us off at January. Since it is the holiday guide, they're not going to get into February apparently. But they talk about mobile next. And this is something that Etsy talks about a lot too.
Yes.
So it's probably a good thing to pay attention to.
Fitting right along with
Yeah.
what Etsy is saying too.
Absolutely. So their first stat here is that in 2016, 2 years ago, the 2016 holiday season, or is that, I guess that would be last year, wouldn't it?
That
1 year ago. See, they had me in January and I was already thinking 2018 and the math didn't work out. In the 2016 holiday season, mobile conversions surpassed desktop globally for the first time ever, with 53% of conversions happening through a mobile device. So, I mean, this is global, and this is across all e-commerce platforms too. So not just Etsy. I think Etsy had been reporting that mobile had surpassed desktop purchases before the 2016 holiday season. This isn't like new news to Etsy or anything like that. And I think it's more dramatic too. I think on Etsy it's like 60% or something like that of purchases come through mobile devices versus desktop. So it's super mobile centric. And as somebody, I don't make a whole lot of purchases on my mobile device. I mean, occasionally I do, I guess. But I'm more of the sit down and spend some time researching it at a computer kind of person. And I guess, so that makes it easy for me to forget that mobile is such a huge thing and a huge platform for people to purchase things, especially something like Etsy. I can't imagine, browsing Etsy on my phone and making a purchase based on something I'm seeing on my phone. I would just have a feeling like I'm being too restricted. I'm looking at a tiny picture on a tiny device and trying to make a decision based on that. I want to see like on my screen, like as much detail as I can and really feel like I had the best experience I could have before I made the purchase. So I'm probably not in this percentage of people, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't forget about them. It's more than half of the people in the world that are doing this, and definitely more than half the people on Etsy that are shopping are on mobile devices and making purchases there too. It's not like they're just going out there to browse around and shop and then move to their computer to make the purchase. No, they're actually making the purchase off of the mobile device. And so it's super important for you as an Etsy seller to make sure your listings show up well on a mobile device. Pull out your own phone, look at your own listings on there, see how the title looks, see how your photos look on a mobile device, see how much of your description shows, and if you're putting, the most important, compelling pieces at the very beginning of your description so that they see those things first. All that kind of stuff. You definitely want to tailor your listings to mobile devices because that's the biggest portion of your audience, they're telling us. Facebook and Etsy, both telling us that.
Yeah, let me tell you why I end up buying a lot of stuff on mobile too. I feel the same way you do, whereas desktop is like easier. Like enter your credit card. Okay, a full keyboard is going to be a little bit easier for me to do that with. But Apple's countering that with things like Apple Pay and Google Wallet and stuff like that, right? And a lot of places want to save your stuff. So like Etsy wants to save your stuff. Like all these places want to save your stuff to make it easier to do. But the reason I end up buying most things on mobile is because that's where I am when I think about it. That's when my awareness comes back to whatever this product is. I'm on my mobile device and something reminds me, whether it's like my to-do list and it's like, hey, make sure you get this or that or whatever it is. Or maybe you just find out something like you're like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Like I was going to do that and I'm reminded. Maybe it's on Facebook, maybe it's something else. Regardless, I'm on the device. I go to the website. Okay, cool. Now I've got the product in front of me. It'd be a little bit easier to check out if I went on the desktop, if it was already there. But then the problem is, how do I get to that product that I'm on the mobile device over to the desktop? There's just not an easy way, not a good way that I've found to like walk over to the desktop and it's already up on the screen and all I've got to do is like finish the checkout, type in my address and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have to go to the website, search out the product, do all that crap, and then start over.
Yeah.
So since I'm already on the mobile device, I continue there. And that's probably where a lot of people are doing that too.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which is actually kind of interesting too, because the next little stat they give is nearly 40% of surveyed global shoppers agree that when it comes to holiday shopping, their mobile device allows them to make a more informed purchase decision.
There you go.
So they're actually they feel confident. Like they actually, it says a more informed. So 40% are like, oh yeah, I feel more informed making a purchase decision on my mobile device.
And you know what this is? I think I figured it out. I think what they do, they'll copy the link and text it to the person they're going to buy it for and say, hey, does this look cool to you? And then they're like, yeah. And they're like, sweet, now I'm informed. I'm going to go ahead and purchase it.
I
It's
like
got to be
that.
what it is, you know?
That's pretty clever. I feel like on the desktop also, I've got like a lot less information just like readily available. I know that realistically there's as much or more because it's easier to get through on the desktop, but the apps on my phone kind of push stuff to me. Whereas the desktop, like I don't have all these things bookmarked. I don't get alerts. Like I purposely keep that pretty clear. I purposely keep my phone pretty clear too. But, the channels that I allow to kind of like, push information to me do so on the phone. I don't even know offhand where to find most of that stuff on the desktop. I don't have bookmarks for it. It's just not something I do.
Mm.
So I could see that. The phone has kind of become like the hub of like, things are coming through there. I'm reading my emails on there.
Yeah.
So if you send me an email with a call to action, if you're promoting something to me via email, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm not usually because I'm on the desktop. I'm doing something very specific. I'm doing one of these jams, and I want to turn all these notifications off. So I like to keep it clear. Or I'm writing some like these course emails, or I'm writing like these bigger campaign type emails, or I'm doing things that I don't want to be distracted on.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I want to be distracted on my phone, but I allow it more there. It's not as structured of environment.
A big portion of this push, I think, is of when I say push, I'm meaning the movement from desktop to mobile devices. You can look and you can say like a lot of the younger people they have their mobile device with them more often, and they're more comfortable doing things on their mobile device, and that's what they use. Well, the other side of that too is I think you look at the older people too. Grandma never had a computer or a laptop, but she does have a phone. She has a smartphone, and that's how we send her pictures of the grandkids. So
my mom does not have internet on her laptop.
See, and so my mother-in-law doesn't even have a laptop.
Buying things, right? So my mom is only buying things on her phone. Yeah. That's the checkout process. It's not I'll go to the desktop where I can do this. No, she doesn't have internet on her laptop. Doesn't feel like she has the need for it. Yeah. So, like to justify the cost of it, because I can do it on my phone. She's kind of right. Laptops are just like desktop computers are just meant for like writing term papers. That's all.
And spreadsheets.
But not for shopping.
Playing solitaire. I guess you can do that on your phone. Darn it.
Or your iPad. Probably more fun than on your desktop.
All right, and then so here's the tip that they have here with the holiday shopping here for mobile devices. They say to use a call to action button that encourages people to make a purchase, such as shop now or book now or buy now or purchase now or get yours today or whatever it is, right? That's the kind of language you want to be using in your descriptions when you're trying to convince your shoppers to make a purchase. And use the same language that Etsy uses inside of their app too, to help guide the person through that process so that you're telling them what to do. We've said this many times before. You need to be telling your customers what they should be doing each step of the way and what to expect in that process too. It's going to make it a much more seamless process for them, and they're going to come away from it much happier having had you kind of walk them through that. They need to be told to buy it.
So you're telling me you want to have an objective.
Yes.
So they see this and you want them to take a specific action. Like you're trying to get something out of whatever preparing for success you're doing.
Yeah.
You want like a measured result back, don't you?
Well, I was thinking of having my description say something like, thanks for taking a look, shop around, see what else. Maybe there's something else you like. It doesn't have to be my shop. It can be someone else's shop on Etsy or off of Etsy too. Check out some other places on the web. Don't forget to search Google, because we wouldn't want you to just limit yourself to Etsy. And just try to be a good host to my customer,
Perfect. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you'll come back again sometime, but probably not because there's a lot of shops out there. So nice to meet you.
That's not going to work so well. I will say though that in a physical store, I do think that tends to work. If I go somewhere to a store and they'll say, you know what, we don't carry that, but down the street, this other store, this like we were shopping for lights the other day, for outdoor lights for the garage and the porch and stuff. And
Mason jar wall sconces?
Mason jar wall sconces. The woman that we talked to at the store, it was like a specific, just a general lighting store. It wasn't like a Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. She was so helpful, so informative. She showed us her catalog, other things that they had there. Obviously, they had stuff in the store. She even mentioned there's another lighting store down the road that's like, obviously not one of their chain of lighting stores, but a different one to go look at. But because of the service that you receive at like a brick and mortar store like that, they know that customers are more likely to return there first, because that's where they're going to not only be able to see the inventory, but get the information. I want to go somewhere where I can get the help that I need to make a purchase. And so not only am I going to go there again if I need to buy lights for something else, but I would recommend other people go there too, because they were so knowledgeable and helpful, Now, I wouldn't say to do that same sort of thing in your product descriptions, though. You don't want to be directing people to your competitors in your product descriptions. So it's a little different.
That'd be an example of a bad idea. Don't do that. So then the Facebook guide here moves into the holiday campaign checklist, with the first part being objective. Funny, we were just talking about objectives.
I totally destroyed your segue, dude. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's all good. The segue still stands. Still stands. Anyways, so I mean, the point is that everything you're doing, you're looking for some sort of outcome, right? You have some sort of objective here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it. Examples they have are getting more likes, comments, and shares. That is very specific to Facebook, of course, right? But on Etsy, maybe you're looking for people to favorite your shop, favorite listings. Like, kind of you're building awareness, so like you're going to start popping up, your updates are going to pop up to them, stuff like that. Or you want more people, which kind of goes along with like more people in your store. Like you want to bring more people in there. Like, so you've got your listings all over the place. So when they search this, you pop up. They search that, you pop up, and all brings them back into your store. Once they're in your store, they have the opportunity to see, oh my gosh, look how much other stuff I love in here. This is fantastic. And, get more people to take valuable actions on your website, which would be things like, favoriting things to save them for later, like adding things to a shopping cart. Since that's kind of like a bookmark. I like to add things to a shopping cart as a bookmark. I think it's easier for me than like making separate lists or having like favorite lists. I will add things to a shopping cart. Yeah. And then I'll go back and kind of like groom the shopping cart.
Yeah, especially if it's not like a long-term list. You're not like planning something. You're going to make a decision, and you don't want this wish list or whatever to stick around forever.
Correct. And hey, maybe if it's something, like it sounds like you're doing some sort of home project, if you're looking for lights, right? And you might be gathering products for, like, let's say I wanted to do something with this room, want to decorate stuff. Like I might go on Etsy and more likely with the help of my wife, and go on Etsy and like start finding things we like and adding things to the cart in a more broad sense, and then go to the cart and start looking at everything's there, and then start whittling down the list to the keepers, and then check out. That's just kind of the process. Yeah. But you have to have objectives for this stuff. And like you were saying, like in your descriptions, you're going to want to lead them to do something, right? So get more people to take action. Get more people to add it to the cart. This is a good choice. Add it to the cart. But without an objective in mind. And, if you're doing, like, let's say you're doing some social media pushes. Let's say you're sending out some newsletter ads or newsletter emails. You're going to want to have an objective with that. So I'm going to send out this email. What do I want people to do? Well, you probably want them to like come to your shop and buy stuff. Okay. But make sure that's clear. Like if you send them an email and there's no calling them to do any of these things, like don't be surprised when they don't. Or you're doing some Facebook posts. Like, what do you want out of it? If you're trying to get them to just go right to your listing and buy it, and you're just like, hey, great Christmas gift, and then like paste in listing, done. That's not really compelling enough to make me just click the buy button, right? But maybe, you're doing something more engaging and you want to get likes, comments, shares, and you're building more awareness to it, right? So then it kind of spreads around, and then people that really like it, they can go take those actions, go to your site, right? But just have those in mind. So you understand what success is. So like when you're done doing whatever it is you were doing, you can look at it and say, hey, that worked or that didn't work.
Mm.
And the next section is targeting, which is about reaching the right people.
Yep.
So that's pretty important too. So you have to have your objective. You got to know what you want out of it. But you got to make sure you get in front of the right people. If you're not getting in front of the right people, then, you're not going to meet your objective, right? It just kind of flows downward.
Yeah. So the examples they give on this one are pretty Facebook centric. They'll say, use audience insights, which is a Facebook tool, right? Build a lookalike audience, a custom audience from your website, a custom audience from your customer data, all that kind of stuff. It's not super helpful if you're trying to figure out how to target your people on Etsy. To do that, you want to make sure you're using the right keywords. Use the words that your customers would be using to search for things, right? And so the only way to really do that is to try to put yourself in your customer's shoes. Talk to your customers is a fantastic way and find out what they're using. There's a little bit in the Etsy stats that will show you what keywords people are using to find your listings. So maybe kind of piggyback on some of those and use those words to seed like a storm inside of Marmalead and try to brainstorm some other words. But that's really how you're going to target your people within Etsy, is by attaching the right keywords to your listing so that when they're there, when they're searching for things on Etsy, they can find exactly what they're looking for. Use their terminology, use their vernacular when you're picking your keywords. Targeting people off of Etsy, you're going to want to have a better understanding of your customer at this point. You're going to want to maybe develop some personas and get a good idea of who your customer is, what blogs do they read, what social platforms do they use, all that kind of stuff, and find out where you can find them off of Etsy. And then go after them in those places and try to reach them and pull them back to your shop on Etsy, wherever they spend their time when they're not on Etsy.
Yeah. So, I mean, everything from your pictures to your descriptions, all of that stuff needs to be geared towards the type of customer you have. So with Marmalead, you might notice that we don't have a lot of pictures of people working in cubicles because we don't sell a big corporate product, right? We sell an Etsy product. A bunch of office space GIFs and stuff like that aren't exactly going to resonate well, like hanging out the water cooler with Lumberg, right? But if you're selling like a big corporate like CRM or something like that, that might be exactly what type of stuff you're using, like,
Lots
like making fun of the corporate environment. Lots of handshake photos. Yeah, exactly. Those are so bad. You wouldn't do those selling on Etsy, right? So, but the same exaggeration kind of applies to whatever it is that you're selling too, right? Like whatever your product is, like keep in mind the type of person that's going to buy it. Just trying to think of a good example there, but I don't have one. But anyways, understand who your customer is. Like you said, use their lingo, use picture that they're going to like, stuff like that, because everyone is not your customer.
And the photos thing is a good point too. That kind of leads us into the next thing that they talk about in their checklist, which is grab people's attention. And one of the ways that they suggest doing this is finding holiday-specific imagery videos and include holiday symbols and stuff like that. So this is something you can do on your listings too, right? Update your photos to include some kind of little thing, like maybe a little sprig of holly in the corner of the photo or something like that. These people are already in a holiday shopping mood, and by doing that and sprucing up your photos, it not only makes your products look like they are aware, you are aware of what everyone's out there doing shopping for the holidays, but it shows that you update them. Obviously, you're not going to have the holly leaf up there for Halloween. Hopefully, anyway, you don't leave it up for Halloween. But as a shopper going to a store, it's going to look like these things are fresh. They're new, they're available. I'm not going to be buying something that was listed like 3 years ago and might not even exist today. It has a sense of recency and freshness to it. So I think that's an important thing to do.
This next one speaks to what I was trying to explain. So write copy that delivers your message, is emotionally relevant, and gets people to take action. And then the second one, creating different messaging and create it for different audiences. And then their examples: use a fresh, energetic voice instead of generic business language when you speak to millennials. And, to products that you might find on Etsy, like if you've got a product that's going to be a great gift for mom, it's going to be different and written different than gift for like a dog, right? Like, oh, this is a great gift for your mom. And like, then you got like a picture of like the coffee cup next to your dog. It's like, well, that doesn't really fit, right? That's not really compelling. But like a picture of, I don't know, your mom, like opening up a gift and like, it's like a coffee mug you've got on there and like super happy and excited, right? That's going to give, like the same mental images like, oh man, like my mom will be so happy opening this thing up. Like that could be us on Christmas.
It's true.
Of course it is. The Facebook holiday guide says it's true.
Just like Singles Day.
Yes. And then, the last one is just like try things. Try things, and I think keep that in mind with the keeping it fresh, right?
Yeah.
Like people, the stores you're used to walking into change things around all the time. Like you're still going to find stuff in the same spot, but they're always kind of rotating things to keep things fresh and exciting and new.
Yep.
So just keep changing things. You don't have to take your pictures once and be done with it. You can keep changing things.
You certainly don't have to do your SEO once and be done with it.
No, you definitely don't. Definitely shouldn't.
And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I think that's through the whole guide. So there's a lot of good things in there, especially if, you hadn't really considered those things before, or especially if this is your first time going through a holiday season as an Etsy seller and you're not quite sure what to expect and you're looking for some advice and guidance in that area too. So again, we'll post this up on the blog page. We'll do a write-up for this. Jade kindly puts together fantastic write-ups for these and makes us sound much better written than we do audio-wise. So check those out too. You can find them at marmalead.com/blog/Etsy-jam. Also, if you just go to the blog, because you don't want to remember the whole long thing, you just go to marmalead.com/blog. There's a link for Etsy Jams in the left-hand side, and you'll find it there. But yeah, hopefully that was kind of a good walkthrough of the guide for you guys. I didn't know if do you have any closing thoughts for this one, Richie?
Nothing too groundbreaking. I think just, taking a listen to some of the things that we talk about in there. You don't have to do everything. I think one of the overwhelming things is a lot of times people are either all or nothing. Have an objective, have like something like, hey, I'll think this is successful if this happens. And then just go ahead and go try something. Trying something is better than nothing. You don't have to do all of it.
Yeah. There you go. And measure. When you're trying stuff, measure so you know if it's working. And you know whether you should do more of it or less of it.
Absolutely. But don't get like paralyzed by the analysis of it. Don't look for examples of why something isn't working. Look, what the biggest thing? Look for bright spots. You'll always find something that's not working. Look for the things that are working. Or the things that are preparing for success.
Prepare for success. I like it. I think we'll leave it on that note. So prepare for success with your shops. And good luck this holiday season. We wish you the best. We will catch you guys next time on Etsy Jam.